Alrighty. I think we are good to probably start getting the ball rolling here, just so that we can get everything going, and then everybody will kind of fall in. We've got people shouting out in the general chat, so we'll be monitoring that. I'm sure Days will be monitoring that too. But welcome everybody. Thank you for attending. This will be the Twitter Spaces AMA and kind of a town hall meeting for most of the Sympathy for Devils and anybody outsiders looking in. Welcome. I'm joined here today by our guest speakers and our co-hosts here, as well as the other founders here for Sympathy for the Devils. I'm going to be running this from the main account, but if you guys don't know me, I go by Pat Speaks Easy on pretty much every platform. So if you need to find me, that's how you do it on the Discord. That's how you do it through Twitter. But I'll try to put up a panel or something later with my information if people need to reach out to me or anything like that with any questions. But of course, you have Days, the treasure seeker here. They will also be made available, and you can reach out to them. Discord's probably the easiest way, but we're open to Twitter as well, I think is the general consensus there. We really wanted to focus the time today and kind of updating everybody, because I know in the past that wasn't necessarily something that was done on a regular basis. It was pretty sporadic, and we want to deviate from that and go to some semblance of normalcy here with AMAs. We will, just as a kind of a helpful hint to everybody, be doing these AMAs on various platforms. I love the Spaces platform. I love that it opens us up to the public, but I think with like the general town halls and things like that, we'll probably be doing a lot of those through our Discord, just because that just remains a little bit easier for us. But I'd like to pepper these in every once in a while too, because it's really cool to just kind of open the doors to anybody who may not be a devil holder who wants to see what we're doing and what strides we're making. It's just kind of, it's good community outreach for us, in my opinion. So Days, Treasure Seeker, and I have talked about that, and we'll be doing a blend, but we'll be making sure to give you guys ample time and announcements so you know what platforms we'll be doing them on. But yeah, let's make this kind of more regular, keep you guys more updated. I love doing these. I think in this space, it's kind of invaluable to be as transparent with your community and with your team as possible. And I very, very much appreciate Treasure Seeker and Days taking the reins on this and wanting to get this addressed pretty quick, especially with some of the bigger announcements that we have here. So I will go through kind of the summarized version of what we have prepared already and the bullet points that we can talk about. Obviously, we'll open the floor to questioning, but I'll also let Days touch on some of the community things. If Treasure's connection holds up, we'll have him talk a little bit about, on the dev side of things, what we're doing on the bigger side of things, if we need to go in depth in any way. But I would like to do like kind of the bullet points right now, and then we'll kind of stop in between each and have each respective founder here talk about their section. So yeah, so let's start with kind of what we're doing with the roadmap, because obviously with the shift in owners on this project, we have kind of taken a new trajectory here in the best way possible, because this is honestly laser focused. We're not taking any kind of shotgun approach to this and just going with, just ideas that pop into our head and kind of talking about things that may or may not happen. We have a pretty solid plan in place after talking to Treasure and Days, and I'd like us to follow through on this and have everybody on the same page and really have a clear kind of idea of where we're headed. And so I think everybody in the Devils Discord and community pretty much know that we're headed towards staking here. That's the new hot ticket item. It's a new way to build a lot of stability in an unstable space. And so we are going to be introducing staking and adding utility in staking by generating a token. I'll let Days talk about the name and stuff like that, but I think what we were talking about was a karma coin. And I think the name is still a little bit up. Correct me if I'm wrong, Days, but might be kind of up in the air right now. But the karma coin is what we'll use for a placeholder at the very least for right now, and that will be started pretty immediately here. I think the staking we're looking like in the next 2 weeks. I think the week after next is what we talked about, and what that looks like is staking the karma coin, start staking our devils for the karma coin, and growing our community fund is really like the number 1 and 2 things we want to hyper focus on. what that does also open the door for us for, which is something that everybody is real excited about hearing about, is the potential for hellhounds. And so I know it's been a little bit back and forth on when and if and all those kinds of things, but really it's looking like if we can get stability in the staking and our native coin here, that hellhounds are just a kind of a guarantee when we have a foundation built like that for them to kind of sit on. The utility behind the Hellhound is not 100% drawn out yet, but what I can tell you and what I have been told today is that when Hellhounds release, again, when everything is established, at the very least, they're going to have a deflationary mechanic in something in Hell's Kitchen again. I don't know if that's going to be the same name and how we brand it, but the same mechanics and everything for the most part will be the same. I think that's just such a cool utility to build into something and to build into the Hellhounds that I'm glad that that's a definite. So super excited about that. And yeah, and we'll delve a little bit more into what that looks like, the kind of Hellhound economics and what those would look like and how many we put out there. Those are still in the talks, but what I can tell you is they are sounding more and more definite as the days go on, and the deflationary mechanic will be built into those for sure. So that's really cool. The other question we were getting as far as into our roadmap is obviously we did away with the piggy bank. And I know that's kind of like rubbed a few people the wrong way, but just understand that it is a means to an end with that, or actually a means to a new beginning, we should say, because we really like to shift to the community fund, put a lot of our focus into that and growing it, and really starting to do really big things with our community wallet, and lean on that heavy, so that when we build that up and it grows, that the piggy bank is also another thing that's possible to bring back. With a healthy community fund, it would be pretty easy, and we could also migrate that over to a platform like Solana, just to alleviate a lot of gas fees on you guys. I think that's just kind of a given, and it seems like a lot of people are shifting towards that, or Matic, Polygon, I should say, and that's really cool. I like that we're addressing that too, but just please be patient with that, because I know people are going to have that question, and we can maybe delve into specifics a little bit. That's most of the information I have on it. But in order for that to be possible, we got to be stable, guys. We got to really grow something and grow a strong base here to build upon. So I think being hyper-focused in these few things is going to propel us leaps and bounds. I mean, you've seen since Treasure and Days have really been involved here and taken over as owners. I know everybody has seen the sales grow. I don't think that is coincidence at all. I think that's just showing that people are exhibiting a lot of confidence in the Devils again, because we have a clear direction and a clear path forward. So yeah, so that's what I want to touch on like immediate roadmap things, because I think that's enough, and that's what we don't want to spread ourselves too thin. We got Days working hard in the community. We got Treasure working hard on developing plans for this, and also collaborative efforts as far as what we do moving forward. I maybe want to have him speak on that, because I don't want to talk out my rear end too much on that. Let me take a look back again. Piggy bank, good. I can also share with you marketing and things like that, because obviously that's my job here. So what I plan to do, we do have a lot of your typical collabs in the works with other projects and those kinds of giveaways to keep things going and to keep some void filled there. But I don't want to divulge too much about the influencers I'm talking to right now, but they are familiar faces that have been that have been and still are devil holders to this day, that I'm reaching out to right now, as far as getting involved with us and helping us market and promote staking, because I think that's the number one thing we want to lean on and really get out to the community, is that we're trending towards that, and we want to hit all of our benchmarks and our timelines in a timely manner. So it'd help to do that by getting a lot of people here who could be the megaphone for us, and get that word out that, like, look, hey, I think all the NFTs had a little bit of a lull in them, but hey, the Devils are doing things to combat that, and to really get us to where we need to be, and we're on track here. I think we want to work towards getting ourselves ahead of schedule. So And then the other thing, the last thing in the marketing thing is we do want to build a hype video for staking. We have a budget set forth for it, but we'd like to get a staking hype video made. We don't have enough videos made for the Devils, and that would be really cool to see us make strides in creating a video to really build some hype there that can be pushed out there pretty easily and remain for at least the whole month a good little marketing piece everybody can throw out there to the community when we do our raids. For the influencers that take a hold, they can kind of lean on that too and use that as kind of a point of reference for people who want to see where we're headed and give people a little bit of a teaser. So that's kind of what I have for the marketing side of things and for what I have on the roadmap plan side of things. Before I give it over to Days for the community engagement portion, so he could do a brief rundown. Treasure, if you could hear me, is there anything that I missed that you want to touch on or that you want to maybe add to?
No, I think you've summed it up really well. So yeah, we can take it from there after Days briefs us on the community aspect, and then we'll open it up for questions.
Cool. Awesome. Yeah. Thank you. Days, can you, yeah, just let's have you go into community and then if I need to add anything, let me know. But what you got for me, brother?
Yeah, sure. So for the community, obviously it's one of the harder jobs coming in when you take over a project is taking everyone that's already pessimistic and turning it into a community of people that want to see the project thrive again. So far, I think we've already done really well with that. Everyone seems to be pretty confident in the new team, which is great to see. But we really do need to drive up the engagement in the Discord and have it like it was in the early days where it was hyped in there all the time. One of the main things that we have on the roadmap for that is when staking releases in about 2 weeks. We're thinking about having a sort of Discord party. So we're looking at a few different DJs at the moment that will come in and do a live event in Discord. We did this for another project and it worked really well. We haven't seen Discord be as active as that ever, really. So looking forward to that. We don't want to release too many details on it until we've actually got it all set in stone. We've got about 2 weeks to set all of that up. But yeah, keep an eye out for more details on that when we actually release the details.
Fantastic. Awesome. Thank you for that. No, I appreciate that. And also, as Days was talking, I was just kind of going through my thoughts here on anything that I missed, and I missed a pretty big thing. I am going to be making the official announcement on the Discord and the Twitter as well. But just as a little fun thing also to carry us through and get us to staking and really have some community engagement. Days will obviously help. He's already helped build the channel for it. I don't know if anybody noticed it there on Discord. But to submit your backstory, I believe is it? Is that the name of the? Yeah, submit your backstory is the name of the channel officially. What that is for is we're going to be making an announcement of devil submissions for the community. So anybody who's got some pretty sick ass devils that are, whether they're cooked or not, we want them. We want your submissions, and we'd love a little backstory on them. Just for like a little bit of your own personal lore, but for us to kind of show off the involvement and the creativity of the community. We'd really, really like to see some submissions, especially from a lot of our long-term holders here. I know you guys got some magic you can work up here. I see 1303 in the audience too. So if you're not involved in that, then I'm gonna be really, really depressed, honestly. Uh, we definitely want everybody's involvement in that, and the story doesn't have to be anything like paragraphs or chapters or anything like that. It can be as short as long or as long as you want. But like, I know we're gonna have some funny stuff. I know we'll probably have some serious stuff and some creative stuff, but there's nothing is off the table. You know, you guys can go for it, get as creative as you want with it. And what the prize is for that, just so you guys know, we're offer full transparency here right now. We won't be able to do any kind of significant giveaway, but what we can offer for this specific event is definitely having a space for you on the new website, which is another announcement that I forgot. So Treasure is working pretty hard on getting our new website going, and with Hell's Kitchen officially closed, it makes things a lot easier to do. So we'll be able to get a new revamped website for you guys that looks like sexy. And I think the way to make it look as sexy as possible is to have some good ass looking devils, some handsome looking devils up there. So that's what that's for. And as far as who we're choosing, it won't just be one devil. We're looking at something like 10, I believe. So we'll have 10 devils featured on there. They'll look sick with these new traits and everything. And a lot of these guys deserve a new spotlight. I know we have a new number one, put up there by Doctor. Like, there's some pretty cool ones. I mean, I'm a little pissed that he burnt my favorite devil there, but hey, it's cool. He made something pretty sick out of it and used those ivory horns, put them to good use. So we definitely want to showcase a lot of those guys, show people what we're creating, and like almost having a with our burning mechanics, the burning thing was always the focus, but I mean, who can ignore the rarities and the cool combination you guys put together? Let's show those off. So that's my other announcement to kind of put out there. I'm seeing some other people jump in here in the chat. Some familiar faces. Rel, I see you out there. Hopefully you come up here and talk a little bit. I'd love to have you up here. He did our metaverse party for Halloween. We did a sick ass job. And honestly, if we do a party or something, he's one of the names I'd want in there for someone to potentially DJ. I know he'd be up for that. Okay, so let me see. I think we want to open the floor to questions here. I only see one requested right now, so I'm going to bring up Token Catcher, but I'd like to hear from everybody. I don't mind cutting this short, but we still got a good 10 or 15 minutes I could dedicate to you guys. Just so you know, this is not to toot my own horn, but I'm in Mexico on vacation doing this for you guys. So, so give me a little love, give the founders a little love. We wanted to make sure to make this a priority, and I'm 100% for it. So I'm gonna bring you up, Token. Let's have you ask some questions. If I can't answer it, we got everybody up here to answer those questions. So I'm gonna give you the floor here. Let me bring you up. And then, all right, you should be up here. Unmute yourself and just do a little mic check for me so we know we can hear you.
Yo, yo.
Hey there. All righty. I'm going to give you the floor and mute off. Let me know what you got for me. If you have a statement or a question, the floor is yours, my friend.
First, how are you guys? How are you, devils? I love you all. And yeah, I love you all. You guys are amazing. Like the family we have right now, it's going to be amazing. Anyways, sorry, I have a question. So basically, we had the last session where we had like a mini party in the Twitter space, but and someone asked this question, but I got disconnected, so I didn't hear the answer. So like my question is, what can we do to like have the same run as we had last time, where we went to like all the way to like 0.5 ETH the floor? So what can we do,
I,
like
lo- I
us
love
as community members?
I love that. I love that question, and I think I can answer it two different ways. So, what the first thing we are going to do is kind of the first focus, the first portion of this AMA, which is, I think what you guys have been craving really is the involvement of your leaders. And I don't like to like steal content or anything like that, but I don't think you're stealing anything from Gary Vee. I know everybody here is very familiar with Gary Vee. I want to bring it back to an analogy that he made because this is going to speak leaps. This is going to speak volumes about what me, Days, and Treasure are trying to accomplish here as the new leaders of this project and the direction we're headed. What he said was in response to a question, or excuse me, in response to a statement from someone on a big spaces he was doing, that said, "Look, the attendee said, I think that the NFT projects that survive, whether it's a bear market or anything else that happens, the ones that are going to withstand all of that are the ones that have the strong communities, these huge strong communities that are all supportive and things like that." And Gary Vee stopped him and he said, well, I want you to elaborate on that. Like, what do you mean by that? And so the guy elaborated and said, I think that the people who have really involved communities are going to really withstand any kind of drops we see, floor prices, plummeting like we saw over the last course of the last 30 days or so. And Gary stopped him and said, look, man, let me tell you something. I grew up and forgive me if I'm messing this up, but I think he grew up in Jersey, but he grew up in a small city and said, when the Chicago Bulls were killing it with Michael Jordan winning 6 championships, everybody in his town wore a Bulls jersey. They obviously we know who they wore. They wore Michael Jordan's jersey. He was the guy that carried them, and I think that the same thing went for most cities. They were just everybody was bandwagoning and joining in and jumping on the train. Well, what happened when he left? He's like he took a look at like at what his community looked like and how many Bulls jerseys there were out there, and he said, I mean, you'd be lucky to find one jersey, one Chicago Bulls jersey. It would still be a Michael Jordan jersey, but it was one Bulls jersey. And what that analogy is really stating is that yes, the community is like the lifeblood of a project, but if you want the good bones and the foundation and the body to put all that lifeblood in, you need some good leaders in place. And that was Michael Jordan of his time. I mean, who wasn't rocking his jersey? Nobody, I mean, we knew the other players, but everybody was rocking his jersey. He was the born leader that took that team to where it was. And I think you need those bones in place, those levels of foundation in place to give some direction to our community and to our lifeblood. And that's how we can really amplify what you guys are doing and continue to do in the space. And to address that question a little bit more on your level as far as what you guys can do, honestly, you guys have been doing a lot. You guys show support where you can. You guys raid when you can. I'd love to see that pick up to levels where we were before, so we can really amplify this. But when we give you guys a clear message, you guys are still just as important as far as influencers go as being our megaphones out there in the community. And I think that the biggest thing that we can do also as leaders is be very receptive to some of the ideas you guys come up with. I know with Days taking charge of the community that all these channels are getting looked over. So things like questions and suggestions and stuff like that, we can't avoid those channels. I mean, I could only do so much when I was really trying to manage it and look through them. And I really had to spend a lot of time nursing the general chat and things like that. And I will admit myself, self-admittedly, would overlook questions and suggestions. I think that's going to be a thing of the past, because you guys have some really brilliant ideas out there. And if we take the time to vet them and filter through them, we can find some really good things to explore on a smaller scale, next to the bigger things, the bigger picture moves we're doing. So I hope that answers your question, boss. And thank you for that, Token.
Yeah, you're welcome. So like, I agree with everything you said. So like yesterday, I was in another NFT chat here on Twitter Space, and like everyone knew who SFTD was. Like when they saw my PFP, they knew like immediately they knew like I was from the Sympathy for the Devils. So like my point is like everyone knows us. We just need to get back on track to where we really like where we should really be placed, up there high in the ranks.
Very, very true. And that's something that you guys know that I've been involved in marketing this as marketing my ass off in the month of October. I honestly think that we could emulate the event we had there again for another, down the road here and make it, exponentially bigger. I mean, like you got Rel in there, he was throwing a crazy party in the metaverse, but you also had a lot of people involved in the space citizens and asking questions and collaborating, man. That's like one of my favorite things to do is connect and stay connected with other projects, other people outside of just NFTs, maybe using NFTs for other platforms and music and actual focus on art over utility and things like that. We gotta keep those bridges up. You know what I mean? And so, like you said, you guys have no idea how many messages I get from projects trying to collab, and I have to really nitpick and go through and vet those. But like you said, to piggyback on what you're saying, Token, we got a lot of support out there. We got a lot of people who know where we are. The mistake we made in the past was taking our foot off the gas, and that's not going to happen this time around. Alrighty. I got Sidburn up here, so I'm going to bring him up real quick. Sometimes he like butt dials his request, so maybe I don't know. We'll find out in a second here. Let me bring him up here. All right, Sid, I got you. Oh, I got you up here. What's going on, man? We can hear you. We can hear you well.
Okay, perfect. So, my question slash like idea, I guess you could say, it has to do with merch.
Sure.
And the merchandise that we had before, it was kind of like just your basic stuff, t-shirts, hoodies, mugs, things that can easily be made and shipped out to our holders. But I was wondering if there's any ideas for like a merch 2.0 store and what we can offer on there.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Go,
I'll go
Days.
over
Oh,
that one
good.
if you
Perfect.
want, because
No,
been
I
working
wanted
on
you
the
to take
merch
this one.
store.
Yeah, I wanted you to take that one.
Yeah, no worries. Yeah, so obviously merch 1.0 wasn't anything that special. It's just the normal devil logo on different products. For merch 2.0, we want to make it way more special so that you can actually get your own devils printed. Or I don't want to give too much away of the ideas we've been coming up with, but it'll be incorporating your own devil. But a big part of that is we need to verify that the person ordering actually owns that devil. Currently, there isn't any Shopify apps to do that. So it's probably going to be a job for me and Treasure to make an app for that so we can verify you own the devil that you're ordering for. But that's just one idea, so you can incorporate your own devil into a canvas or hoodie, maybe some 3D products. It's going to depend on the suppliers that we have. Um, But yeah, it's going to be, let's just say it'll be a lot more customized for merch 2.0, but maybe some limited edition pieces.
Hell yeah.
Nice. So one idea, you know, back when Merch 1.0 was on the table before it actually launched, I was in the chat room asking people like, you know, hey, what kind of merch would you guys like to see? And somebody gave this fantastic idea of like a chef's hat, you know? And I was thinking about that earlier because I was like, okay, yeah, let's say we find somebody who can make us these chef's hats. How are we going to handle fulfillment? Um, you know, is there any ideas or is there any process in place for things that aren't just your standard hoodie, t-shirt, and mugs?
Yeah, so I mean, I've already got a business in print on demand, which is where people can order from your e-commerce store. They order different types of products and you get it delivered by a separate manufacturer. So you don't actually do any of the printing yourselves. So that makes it pretty good for stuff like that. We can find a print on demand supplier for pretty much anything these days, including chef hats. When I spoke with Red and NFT Dude about this, we even come up with an idea for maybe a spatula for when House Kitchen was open, like crazy stuff like that that you can find suppliers for. So there's not really a limit on the products that we can offer.
Nice. That sounds cool. I'm looking forward to it.
Love that.
Yeah. It would be cool if any of the community has any ideas of types of products or merch ideas to put them in the Discord. I'll write them down, and then I can get looking for POD suppliers for that.
And just as anybody is listening to this, just as a reminder, because we kind of shied away from this, when you see good questions that you like, and when you see good suggestions that you like, it really helps us hone in and focus on them. When you guys just react with some emojis, honestly, like we want to be able to just kind of see what you guys like and what the general consensus is. Keep on doing that. Let's bring that back. Don't be shy using the emojis on those other channels there, because it just helps catch our eye. You know what I mean? Like that's something that I feel like I've seen kind of die down a little bit. So let's get that up and running, and that helps us out know what you guys like and what you guys want us to focus on, and Days can kind of hyper focus on what to bring into that merch store and unique items and things like that. So that's really cool. I love hearing that the world is kind of our oyster when it comes to merch. That sounds really exciting. And then I don't have any more speakers or any more questions, guys. I'm gonna we've done about 30 minutes. I want to respect everyone's time here. We're gonna make these a pretty regular thing, and so I really want to make sure everybody knows that this is something that we want to make kind of regular. We'll do it on a smaller scale for the most part on a regular basis, but as far as having AMAs and having these town halls and stuff like that, we know how important they are to you guys, and we know you guys want to just hear from us. So I think with Days and his involvement in the chat, and as frequently as Treasure Seeker can be pinged and brought in really quick, you know, you guys are getting the support you need in the Discord, but it's still good to hear our voices and hear things kind of live, and maybe some stuff that we didn't touch on, we can fill the gaps, we can ask questions. Don't ever be shy, guys. We want you to feel like you can approach us and talk to us, whether it's on this setting or through the Discord. We're happy to address the questions we can answer, and the days of blowing smoke and, you know, and delaying things and all that kind of stuff are well behind us. So I think you guys can clearly pretty much see that. So I'm going to call it here for now, unless anybody has anything. And if it doesn't have to be a question, if someone wants some closing statements or anything like that, I'm going to give you about 10 to 20 seconds. Just put a request up. There is one right there. Let's see who we got. Oh, look who we got, an MVP. All right, Carl. Floor is yours, my friend.
Hey guys, I just wanted to say to Pat. First of all, our admins have the sexiest voices in the game right now. That's a fact. And second, Pat, with like marketing, I know you're going to be doing it more consistent. I'm thinking like, do you have like a time schedule like where you're going to kind of do like maybe, one paid post a week, one collab a week so that we've got like something going on like every 2, 3 days so that we don't ever lose momentum again?
Yeah, so the frequency is still something that's up in the air. So as far as like the every 2 or 3 days, they might be spaced a little more than that, but I think one a week should be able to be pretty attainable if we get the budget out for marketing and set out correctly. But with the month going the way it is and the way Treasure and Days have this set up, the portion of royalties that goes to the team here, the new portion, a big reason for that, the shift there was to obviously allocate for marketing. So, you know, we take marketing funds out of that before we ever see any of it. So that was made very evident to me as soon as he brought me on, and I appreciate that because you know I have some semblance of control of where that goes. Obviously, we congregate together to figure out what the best avenues are to explore. But he's taken the time to set forth a budget for marketing so that we can make sure we have something on a regular basis. And I'm hoping with the way that the month is going and how we hope this continues to go, that we'll always have something pretty solid, that we'll have a solid little nest egg for marketing and exploring those kinds of things. And then obviously bringing up the level intensity for marketing and who we're bringing on, whether it's an influencer or maybe a Schiller account or something for 1 week. We want to be able to kind of pivot to what we need and what the messages we're trying to convey as far as timing for launches of things. So like for staking, for example, they've made it very, very, very important that we get the word out on that. So I know that we will try not to spare any expense on launching that, and that's you'll see that in the form of creating this hype video and getting at least an influencer on to spread the word here. So so yeah, very good question, Carl. And then also a big shout out to you. Thank you so much for what you've been doing in the community. I honestly feel like you stepped like right into my role with helping guide the community, helping be super supportive out there, helping me with raids, man. Like we want to get you some. We want to make sure that there's always support on every layer of the community. But you've been a tremendous help, and you deserve a lot of credit for that.
Cheers. Yeah, anything to get us up. I mean, obviously, I own a crap ton of devils, but also, you know, you see it like before, right? Before we had the leadership change, you know, people were like pretty sad, and there was a lot of FUD, and then we kind of did a coup where you know we kind of said we weren't going to take it anymore, and since that Friday, which I guess is like 8 days ago, everything has completely changed, and so I think it's just been an amazing week with you guys.
100%. I mean, if you just look at sales alone, we can gauge that. But then if you look at the engagement in the Discord and everything too, it's just phenomenal. So it's like it's a complete 180. I completely agree with you. And you know, just you as much as us three have been a big portion of that. Our mods, we appreciate you guys. Like this is like we really appreciate you kind of going with the flow here because this can be scary to a lot of people to just see a dynamic shift. But I think we shifted very much in the right direction here. So, so again, big shout out to you and big shout out to everybody. I don't want anybody in the community to feel like I'm overlooking you either. You guys withstood a big kind of dip with us and remain holding tight. And people like Carl, even before he was like this huge whale for the Devils, he was buying all the way on the way down, but his level of support was always there before he owned the amount that he owns now, and that's kind of the everlasting sentiment that's been with all of our holders. So this is really cool. I'm really excited, and I think that's a really good note to kind of end this on. I don't see any other speakers, so I'd like to just for the sake of it. Oh, go ahead, Days.
I was just going to say before we do, when there's a few questions in Discord, I'll go over. But
Oh, sure.
Abraham's about to say something anyway.
Yeah. Sid,
Did you have
did you
something
have?
first, Sid?
Yeah. So really quick, I know that we have staking coming up in about a week or two. Has it been confirmed? Will it be confirmed if we're gonna have like a community vote on the token name, or is Karma pretty much set in stone right now?
Good question.
No, Karma's not set in stone just yet. It's just the idea we came up with as a name. But I've been reading through the Discord, and the community's got a lot of better names. So it will most likely come down to a vote. But the name's the easiest part to change about all of that anyway. So it's not, we can have that vote in the next coming days or week, and that's no issue.
Sid's only asking that because he's been like 70% of the recommendations of names. That's
Yeah.
why.
Yeah, I've seen. But yeah, it's definitely been some better names. So Karma probably won't be the one that we go with. But also
Cool.
it comes down to which have already been used as well. So we need to check them.
Awesome.
But to carry on with that, someone was asking in Discord about the staking and just giving a rundown of how exactly that works. And it also ties into the earlier question of how are we going to get the floor back up to where it was before. So if anyone that doesn't know, for staking, it's basically a process to take your devils that you already own and have in your wallet and deposit them into a staking contract. So you won't be able to list them or sell them while they're staked, but while they are staked, you earn a reward, which is this karma coin that we're talking about, or whatever we decide to name it. That token, karma, will be what's deflationary and will have its own utility going into the future. I don't want to mention too much of it yet because I don't know exactly what we have confirmed 100% for it. But like I said, it'll be deflationary and it has its own utility. You can unstake at any time when you want to go and sell them again or list them. But because they're all being staked and they can't be listed, that helps increase the floor price. Obviously, because there's less for sale, and all of the ones that are for sale at the floor price normally get swept up so they can stake for more rewards. That also ties into another question that someone asked about how getting rid of the piggy bank and putting it into the community wallet was a good idea, and how that actually benefits the community. So to recap on that, the old piggy bank system, you couldn't really claim your rewards because the gas fees were just too high. Even though we had a really efficient contract for it, it just wasn't really possible unless you had a lot in there and claimed in low gas. But by moving it to the community wallet, in future, well, it'd be more efficient to claim for one, and for two, we can grow the community wallet a lot faster than just having 40 ETH in a piggy bank wallet that isn't doing anything at all. So by investing it into the Mutinate, as an example, as the value of that goes up, it appreciates the community wallet, and your share of that community wallet also increases as well. And that obviously ties in with staking, as staking helps increase the floor price. That's more volume going through the collection on OpenSea, which is more payments going into the community wallet to grow it even more. So it's a nice loop that all ties together quite nicely to help the floor price rise. And yeah, that's pretty much how they work together.
Awesome.
Obviously works much better than just a piggy that you can't claim.
Sweet. Thank you so much for that, Days. The only other question that I see, I don't know if you have another one that you wanted to go through, but as far as drawing for the mutant cat giveaway and the couple devils that we have there for the buying and burning incentive, since we're going to be doing that purely off of metrics and numbers from OpenSea, Days, I think we would kind of, I think he'd have a better idea of how to draw them, but we should be doing that, I would say, maybe in the next couple days. Does that sound plausible or feasible?
I need to add the command to the bot for it, but I'll try and get that done by tonight anyway.
Cool. Okay, perfect.
Hopefully this evening.
So no promises that it's guaranteed by tonight, guys, but within the next couple days here, we'll make the announcement. We have the end time set on that and everything, so don't worry about it trickling in from any new burns or new buys right now. So we'll kind of go from there. But we are working on it. And we'll make sure that announcement gets made in the next couple days here. So, and then it looks like Token has his hand up. If you want to ask, sir, you can unmute yourself.
Yeah, just a quick question. Does Von Miller is Von Miller still a devil holder?
Who was the person you were mentioning?
Von Miller. I don't know if that's how you pronounce his name. He's
Yeah, no, that is the
yeah.
football player. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So no, I don't know that he sold it. I can't really speak to that. I would be kind of blowing smoke there because I'm not too positive. But I didn't hear that he had sold it. I feel like someone would have been tracking that and caught it.
He gave it to his brother. He sent it to his brother's wallet, so
Gotcha.
he didn't sell. Yeah.
Gotcha. Still out there. Awesome. Well, I think that about wraps it up. We got through most of the questions here. Guys, there will be plenty of opportunity to hit these again. I really appreciate everybody who came out today. Please, anybody who's been here, if there's people who have questions that weren't able to make the AMA, you are our biggest advocates out there to be able to kind of spread the word about what's going on, but we will make official announcements so they're up there as well. But again, you guys are big advocates out there and continue to be that. I'm gonna call it. This is gonna be the end of the AMA and town hall. Thank you so much for attending. Days, Treasure, I appreciate you out here. All you devil holders and anybody out there in the public that came, thank you so much. I'll see you on the next one, and you guys have a good one.